concert hall. If you must leave this performance at any time, please wait for a member of the house staff to guide you back to your seat. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the performance.
Good afternoon. My name is Matthew McCutcheon, and I have the great fortune of serving as the Director of Bands at USF. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you to this concert. The very first thing I'm going to ask you to do, if you don't mind, is to take your phones and put them on airplane mode. We are trying to live stream this concert. It goes on Wi-Fi. We think part of the problem is we keep interrupting everybody else's Wi-Fi, so we don't know if this is going to help or not, but it's worth a shot. So if you don't mind putting it on the airplane, that would be very nice. Before you get going, I have several people I need to thank, beginning with the USF administration who allowed us to have this event. We obviously started planning for it months and months ago when there was still a lot of uncertainty of whether or not we should have crowds on campus, and they trusted us and trusted the science. And for our Dean Garvin and David Williams, who's the interim director of the School of Music, we're deeply appreciative. We have an incredible concert hall staff that is led by Lee Welcher, who's back in the back there, who has been to all sorts of rehearsals and recording and lighting, and they make all this possible. We have a remarkable winds and percussion faculty here who have taught master classes and gotten to know your students very well. We're grateful for them. This would not have happened without our graduate students that you're seeing all over the place: Devin D. Dodd, Matt McDowell, Zach Wadsworth, Jordan Gonzalez, and Reed Streisig, who have done everything from coffee runs to figuring out how to make the Wi-Fi work. So we've had a number of counselors, 12 counselors, who have taken very good care of your children at night. Our percussion assistants, brothers and sisters of the 4 music fraternities and sororities who have served dinner and cleaned up and just done so much work. We're just deeply grateful. And I am incredibly fortunate to have just a remarkable co-workers here in Mark Cisnochick, Dr. Mark Cisnochick, and Dr. Tina DeMelio, our other 2 band directors. It is a warm and welcoming place because of them. So we're very happy that your students have gotten to meet us. Parents, thank you. Thank you for trusting us. I know at this time when you send off students anywhere, it's with a bit of trepidation. I have a 6-year-old, so I understand this a lot more than I did 6 years ago. Thank you for letting them come. Students, you should just know this. They've been terrific. They've been on time, they've been funny, they have worked hard, they've been tired. You should have seen their faces yesterday, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They've done everything we've asked them to. It's been a pure joy, and we've just been blessed to have them. The wind band has had 11 and a half hours of rehearsal. In chamber ensembles, there were 4.5 hours of rehearsal. They have sat through 4 concerts and master classes by our faculty, and we just think that this has been a wonderful, wonderful weekend and a joyous weekend of music making. It's so much fun to have live music on our campus again. I have one announcement only, which is that as soon as this is over, we need you to exit through those doors over there as quickly as possible so we can get the hall turned around and the next group in. It is now my distinct honor to introduce the clinician, Dr. Catherine Moran, who you've already met. Dr. Moran is a Tampa native. She grew up in the area. She went to the University of Tampa. She taught at 3 or 4 middle schools around here, 2 high schools, did a degree here at USF, taught at FIU, and is now the director of bands at the University of Southern Mississippi, where she is just tearing up the band world. She is a remarkable musician, a wonderful clinician, and an even better person. Would you please welcome Dr. Catherine Moran.
I was about to say that I would be glad to come over here. So, wasn't that wonderful? Yeah. I love that piece. That particular work is called For the New Day Arisen. It was by Steve Barton. And as you can tell, it's very energetic and very exciting work. It demands a lot of rhythmic precision throughout and independence throughout the whole ensemble, and it's actually quite fun to work on. I think they really enjoyed it this weekend. Our next work is a beautiful piece. It's called Arya Di Chiesa. It is by Stradella and arranged by Tom Frischillo. An aria is an Italian word from the 18th century meaning air. It is a song in which a singer would sing to express his or her feelings. This particular aria is a very passionate work that ebbs and flows through several emotions. It uses the tempo and the movement of the line to set the feeling of love and angst. absolutely love that work. Did you understand when I was saying that the tempo really lays it down? It is such a beautiful work, and you could hear the love of the singer as well as the angst of what is going on musically. It is beautiful. Our next work is a wonderful piece, and actually the ensemble got to choose the order, and so this is definitely a piece that they wanted in this particular spot. This is called Impressionist by Julie Drew. And I'd like to read to you just a little bit about the program notes of this work, and I think for our music educators in the audience, you'll appreciate this very much so. Julie writes, Impressionist takes the listener on a journey consisting of several highly contrasting sections. The opening theme, which is highly rhythmic in nature, is a reference to mathematics. The second section, entitled The Most Noble of Professions. This is a broad and sweeping in nature. It represents the impact teachers have on their students over the generations, which is very interesting, and I'm going to do a little side note here. I am, of course, one generation. My professor for my master's degree was here, so I really loved USF. It was fabulous. I have students that are teachers now in this county and other counties, and they have students sitting in this ensemble. So I feel like I have a 3-generation family here, 3 to 4 generations. So I'm very excited. We do have a noble profession. The next part is about the next section is entitled Two Pitches for Two Sisters. It is a poignant section featuring a melody which consists primarily of only 2 pitches, representing Karen Judd and her sister Janice. Karen commissioned this work in memory of her sister Janice, who was a math teacher and who passed away after a long battle with breast cancer. The next section is called or entitled Musicals. It's an odd meter, rhythmic, energetic, lighthearted in nature. The melody gets tossed around the band much in the fashion of a choreography or a musical. The final section is a reprise of the noble theme. It's much more grand, and it's uplifting in style. This piece is really a whole work, very much of a musical synopsis of the life and the loves of a single person. In this case, it's Janice, and giving it the fitting title of Impressions. All right. I, of course, left my baton where it needs to go. Wasn't that an amazing piece? And for the amount of time that we got to rehearse it played really, really well. They were, amazing on that. So, a couple of things that I'd like to do before we get to our next piece. One, I would like to give my thanks to the wonderful students and staff at the University of Southern Mississippi. Thank you, that's where I'm from. The University of South Florida, Southern and South, what can I say? And their directors for hosting Festival of Winds. Special thanks to Dr. McCutcheon, the Director of Bands, for the invitation to conduct. Thank you so much. And also for covering my first rehearsal when my flight was delayed. So I really appreciate what he has done. As many of you know, I'm born and raised in Florida. I've spent 15 years approximately teaching in this wonderful state, 13 and 14 of those teaching in Hillsborough County specifically. And I've seen some of my beautiful and wonderful Hillsborough County friends that I've known for a very long time. I truly enjoy my time here and absolutely loved working with the students on the stage and the students in my classroom over the past 15 years. I'd like to thank you, the teachers and the parents of the students that are at stage. Without you, music would not exist in many places. I thank you, parents, for your support of music, teachers, and parents for advocating for music in all schools throughout this state. I would like to really express my deepest gratitude for those students that are on stage. This has been a wonderful musical experience. I have not been able to conduct an honor band in 2 years because of COVID, so this is my first honor band. So to be able to stand up in the front of a group of students that are amazing musicians in my home state, in my county, this is poignant. So I am honored, and we have such a great time for the 2 days that we got to rehearse together. Every one of these kids are just truly amazing people, so please give them a round of applause. And remember, this was a student choice of programming, and I think they chose really well. The last piece that we're going to do is Into the Silent Land. This is actually written by a friend of mine who I knew as an undergraduate student at the University of Miami. His name is Stephen Danu. And I'm going to give you a little bit of program notes so we can put in context of what this piece is about. And Stephen writes, and this is from his point of view, on December 14th, 2012, 20 children and 6 educators were killed by a gunman in Sandy Hook Elementary School in Sandy Hook, Connecticut. Steve actually grew up in Sandy Hook, just a mile away from the school, and that's where he attended 3rd through 5th grade. For the past several years, he had thought about writing a piece of music that would reflect this tragedy, but he had struggled to know where to start. Even after the beginning of sketching the idea out of the piece, he felt unsure of where the piece should go and what it should communicate. In an effort to find a clearer sense of directions, he searched for poetry, words. Those words to reflect his feelings. He came across a poem called Remember by Christina Rossetti. He found the directions he was looking for through the word of remember. Through that simple idea of remembering and not forgetting that this happened, and not forgetting these children, and not forgetting the grief that their families must have felt. He realized that this is what he wanted and needed to communicate through music. With that, he had written Into the Silent Land.
Remember me when I am gone away, gone far away into the silent land. When you can no more hold me by the hand.
Remember me when no more day by day you tell me of our future you planned. Only remember me, you understand.
Remember me when I am gone away, gone far away into the silent land.
At the School of Music in the College of the Arts at USF. At this time, we ask you to please silence your cell phones. We also remind you that the use of recording devices and flash photography are strictly prohibited in the hall. In the event of an emergency, exits are located to your left and right sides in the concert hall. If you must leave this performance at any time, please wait for a member of the house staff to guide you back to your seat. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the performance.
Good afternoon and welcome to USF. My name is Matthew McCutcheon and I have the very deep pleasure of serving as the director of bands here, and it is my honor to welcome you to the concert that you're about to attend. There are so many people that I need to thank before we begin, starting with USF's administration, who several months ago decided to allow us to hold this event. There was a lot of uncertainty at that point in time, and they trusted us and they trusted the science, and we're deeply grateful to our dean and the director of the School of Music for allowing us to do this. We have a remarkable concert hall staff led by Lee Welcher, who just has been here for hours and hours pulling everything off and recording and everything. And none of this would work without them. Our winds and percussion faculty at the University of South Florida Lord, which is second to none, who have given master classes and chamber choirs and things along these lines and done so well and gratefully. We have tremendous graduate students, and I promise you none of this would go on whatsoever without our graduate students who have done everything from order food to secure the hotel to all the, just everything. Driving people around, getting coffee, you name it, they're incredible. It's Devin Dedon, Matt McDowell, Zach Wadsworth, Jordan Gonzalez, and Reed Streisick. We have undergraduate counselors who have been wonderful. I believe all of them are music education majors, some of which are about to begin teaching very soon. We've had percussion assistants back in the back. We have 4 music fraternities and sororities who have come and volunteered to help with all the meal and all the moving of chairs and rooms. It just takes it takes a village. It takes hundreds of people to pull this off, and I'm so deeply appreciative to all of them. I'd also like to recognize a few people. Parents, thank you. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for sending your students. They were great. They were talented. They were funny. They worked hard. They were tired yesterday. They kept going. This is the amount of work that goes into putting this together is can be overwhelming at times, and it is so worth it to watch them. And thank you for sharing this with us. And high school band directors, if you're a high school band director, would you mind standing, please? You think you know how much they work, but you don't. These are the people who care about your children almost as much as you do. When I was 4 or 5 years into my collegiate teaching career, I said to my wife, I love teaching high school, I wouldn't mind going back. And she said, oh no, you're not. So you just can't imagine how much time and energy and love and passion they put into all of this, and they certainly don't do it for applause, but it is very much appreciated. I really only have one business announcement, which is as soon as the concert is over, we need you to exit the store over in the corner. We need you to do so as quickly as possible so we can set the stage for the next ensemble. The students will go back, get their cases, and they'll meet you out in the lobby. Over the past 4 days, they have been through 11 and a half hours of wind band rehearsal, 4 and a half hours of chamber ensembles. They've gone through 4 concerts, and they've had master classes by our faculty. That's a lot in a very short amount of time. And it is, I really, what we should do with every concert is we should play the dress rehearsal first, just a few seconds of it, maybe 30 seconds of what they sounded like on Thursday before you see what they sound like today, because the progress is pretty remarkable. The conductor of this ensemble is one of everybody's favorite band directors. I have heard of Aris Golden for a very long time. Dr. Golden and I both grew up in North Carolina. We both started our careers teaching middle school. We have several mutual friends, and I just kept hearing the name Aris Golden, Aris Golden, Aris Golden. And finally met her about 3 years ago when we served on a committee together. And I thought, oh yeah, everybody's right. This is the real deal. She is just a fantastic person, a fantastic teacher. There's something about when you start your career in middle school, when you've gone through that and you know what that's like. She now teaches at the Michigan State. Oh, I almost got in a lot of trouble. She does not teach at the University of Michigan. She teaches at Michigan State University, which is one of the finest band programs in the country. And I am so thrilled to have her here and to get to spend more time with her and for you to get to meet her. Please welcome Dr. Aris Golden.
course, the running joke with this microphone is how long it's going to take me to whack it and knock it over. So we'll see how that goes as the concert progresses. But I hope that you can hear we've had a pretty good time together over the last few days. I said to them, I think yesterday, or was it earlier today, it's like, if I can come back and work with people like them, I am glad to come to Florida anytime. Not to mention the fact that I live in the frozen tundra for 6 months out of the year. So that's also super motivating. So they've been fantastic. I'll continue to tell you more and more about how fantastic they've been as the concert progresses. But the next piece we want to play for you is supposed to be reminiscent of the sun at its highest point in the day in the sky. And it's by a new composer. He's actually less new now than before, Kevin Day, who is just writing remarkable, like entertaining, really super compelling music for wind band right now. So we hope you'll enjoy our performance of Shimmering Sunshine. So many moving parts. Okay, anyway. Now this is a change of pace for us with our next piece called Our Castaways by Julie DeRue. And Dr. Rand and her group played something by Julie as well, but this is a very different thing, Our Castaways. So I showed the students this before. Did I do it before we played a note? Or yeah, and they're all kind of like, oh, like literally that was like the look on everybody's, well, most people. But this particular piece was commissioned by a friend of mine in Illinois. And what it is if you look at the cover, which is this is one of the first score pages, it is for those who rescue, those who get rescued, and especially for those whose rescue never comes. And it's a piece that's based in the idea of rescue animals and how we rescue them. But really, in the long term, they are actually the ones that rescue us, number one. And then number two, I think we, a lot of times, underestimate how the animals in our lives make such a huge difference in the quality of our lives. Because, especially, I used to own cats. There's some days that you feel like that you're their favorite thing on the earth. There are other days they're like, could you get out of my house? Like, there's no in between with them. But I feel so very fortunate to have had both of them as a part of my life. So they are, because I participated in the creation of this in some ways, like they are on like the front page. So we've got Kitty Cat 1, like Scooter Golden and Sam Golden, if you were to come to look up the score. But then the next thing is just page after page she asked people to send pictures of their rescue animals in. So this piece is really dedicated to all of them and all that animals mean in our day-to-day lives and all of that. So we hope that you will enjoy our interpretation of Our Castaways by Julie DeRue. So our next selection is kind of an oldie but a goodie in 4 movements. So it's the Hebrides Suite by Claire Grundman. And one of the things I always find interesting about band ensembles or ensembles that are band, use your words, Dr. Golden, right now is that as we progress through time, the writing for our ensembles has evolved along with us. So what you'll hear that's different about this Claire Grundman piece, I think, is that he was very much one of the composers, like if you were in band yourself and you played Charles Carter, Overture for Winds, or you played anything by Clifton Williams ever written, they not also Alfred Reed, another. They write a melody and a counter melody and a counter melody and another 2, 3 counter melodies all at once going against the melody. So the thing that's interesting for us with our modern ensembles, composers writing a little bit differently, is just to try to challenge ourselves to pick out and pull out the things that are important, that are all entwined in all the scoring. So, and I feel like we've done a really good job of putting this together, and it's worked really well for them, and I feel like we've progressed and learned a lot. So again, we hope you'll enjoy our performance of the 4 movements of Claire Grundman's Hebrides Suite. We do have one more for you, and ours, our percussionists are getting set up. I've had the best time down here, and these students are really, really savvy people when it comes to music, and I get the feeling from them about how they lead themselves through their lives in the world. They're teenagers sometimes. We all know what that means. But I get the feeling they get some things that other people their age don't, and it's been just so much fun, and it's been so cool to work with them and to just collaborate with them on creating the performance that you're hearing right now. I would be completely sus, I guess would be a word that they would use, if I I said something to them yesterday about Among Us, and they were all like, whoa. Like, yeah, guys, I know some things too. Thank you very much. But if parents, and I work at another major university, so I'm going to put that out there first. If you are a Floridian and you're looking for a place to send your student to be in music, you should send them here. Because the faculty and the staff here, they didn't pay me to say that either, by the way. But literally, this is going to be one of my favorite Honor Band or festival memories because of just the way these folks behind me have been, which is a tribute to you all, and how this festival runs and how the people take care of you in the setting while you're working with these folks to get them to do their best performance. So thank you to my USF colleagues who are all over here. They're phenomenal. And if their students aren't when they get here, these three people inspire them to be. And there are some phenomenal music students here at this university who really are kind of the nuts and bolts of the setup of this running. So if you see one of them and you can identify that it's a USF student, you should thank them because they're really the ones that when we're not rehearsing are caretaking and moving your students from place to place and doing all these things. So again, I'll come back anytime. Just let me know what you need, especially if I get to work with people like this. We have one more piece for you. Here we go.
Thank you very much. We need everybody to clear the hall.
At the School of Music in the College of the Arts at USF. At this time, we ask you to please silence your cell phones. We also remind you that the use of recording devices and flash photography are strictly prohibited in the hall. In the event of an emergency, exits are located to your left and right sides in the concert hall. If you must leave this performance at any time, please wait for a member of the house staff to guide you back to your seat. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the performance.
Good afternoon. My name is Matt McCutcheon, and I'm tremendously fortunate to serve as the Director of Bands at the University of South Florida. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to our final concert of Festival Winds 2021. Over the past 4 days, these students have sat through 11 and a half hours of rehearsal. In this ensemble, they've been in chamber ensemble rehearsals for 4.5 hours. They have attended 4 concerts. They've had master classes by our faculty, and it has just been a tremendously wonderful weekend. There are a number of people I need to thank, beginning with the administration of USF and our College of the Arts and our School of Music, who several months ago, when things were so uncertain, allowed us to proceed and to have this event. They trusted science, and it has worked out very well for us. I'd like to thank the concert hall staff, led by Lee Welcher, who's back in the back behind the big window back there, who has been in every concert, making sure everything runs smoothly. Our outstanding, truly world-class faculty, winds and percussion, who have taught master classes and lessons and chamber ensembles. We have unbelievable graduate students here: Devin Dedon, Matt McDowell, Zach Wadsworth, Jordan Gonzalez, and Reed Streisick, who have done everything from staying in the hotel at the evening to running the Wi-Fi or the live stream to coffee breaks. So none of this would have happened without our graduate students. We have a number of undergraduate students, including our counselors, not all of whom are music ed majors, and several of whom will be teaching very soon. Percussion assistants, brothers and sisters of the 4 music fraternities and sororities who have passed out meals and moved chairs. You just saw a number of them. They were under the direction of Arya Di Chiesa. I neglected last concert. I'm so sorry to mention the 2 people who have just been instrumental in every aspect of this, which are our other band directors, Dr. Mark Sosnochik and Dr. Tina D'Amelio, who not only care so deeply about the program, but just make coming to work every day so much fun. Thank you. And I'd like to, please, if you're a high school band director, would you stand and be recognized? And you know what? If you're a middle school band director, stand and be recognized too. Just the fact that they're here on a Sunday afternoon, they're 1 day off, still banding, just tells you how much they care about your children. I'd like to thank you parents for entrusting your students with us this weekend. I know several months ago it was a little hairy and we didn't know what was going to happen, so thank you for your trust. And above perhaps all else, thank you to the students on stage and who are now scattered throughout the audience. They have been wonderful this weekend. They've worked hard, they've done everything they can to make this as pleasant an experience as possible, and it's a tremendous amount of work to put this festival on, and it's worth every second of it when you watch them grow and learn. I now get to introduce to you our final clinician of the weekend, Professor Jerry Junkin. Every band director in the country knows the name Jerry Junkin. It is not an exaggeration to say he is the preeminent conductor in the country, perhaps in the world. We're only fortunate enough to have him here this weekend because Japan is basically shut down, because normally at this point in time that's where he's conducting. His recordings are studied and listened to by pretty much everybody in the profession. I've been hoping for this to happen for a very long time for several reasons. Number one, Professor Junkin started his career, or didn't start his career, but very early in his career, was here for 4 years at the University of South Florida. We have a very impressive lineage, and he is at the very top of that list. And so I ran into him at a clinic a couple of years ago and said, when was the last time you were at Festival Winds? He said, well, I guess when I ran it. Hasn't been back since then. So it's been many, many years. So it's been far too long since we've had it back. Number two, because we are at USF directly benefiting from his outstanding teaching, because Dr. Sosnochik is one of his prized students. So we feel like we get a little bit of Professor Junkin every day from Dr. Sosnochik. But above all else, he is just an extraordinary musician. There's not a stand up there, right? There's no podium or the conductor. Most of us use music. He doesn't. It's a joy to watch, it's a pleasure to watch, and it's inspiration, and these students have just been tremendously fortunate. Would you please welcome to the podium Professor Jerry Junkin.
Thank you so much. I realize it's a tad unusual for the guest conductor, even though there is this expectation that we're supposed to step forward at some point and talk about how wonderful it's been to have been wherever we've been for the last few days. But I can tell you that this time the difference is it really is true. I've said it many times when I didn't mean one syllable of it, but this time, this has been a really joyous occasion for me to return to the University of South Florida, where I spent 4 really wonderful years. Our daughter basically grew up. You know, I think she was 4 months old when we moved here, and I had so many wonderful memories of this place and the people here. And I can honestly say, after having walked around a bit and looked, it's all better now. So this is a very special place. And of course, the faculty here are amazing. I want to thank Dr. McCutcheon, Dr. Sosnochik, Dr. D'Amelio for their incredible hospitality, for the invitation to be here in the first place, but also to the many wonderful students who have helped us get this organized, get everyone to the right place. And lastly, of course, to my wonderful colleagues on stage who have been a real joy to work with the entire way. Now, I have to give you one bit of information about the program, because I just want you to know that you did get your money's worth, even though we're only playing one piece. It's long, so I think people always want to know what they're in for. So this piece has 13 movements in the band version, and it's going to take about 30 minutes to play all 13 movements. So it's difficult to keep track of where we are, so you'll know when it's over. When you hear the music that you heard at the very beginning of the piece, when that comes back, that's when the piece is over. So you don't really have to pay that much attention to counting the movements or anything. It could be worse for you if you're a time person, because the original orchestra version is 1 hour and 10 minutes and 25 movements. So this is much better, actually. And it's a terrific piece. So Carl Orff's Carmina Burana. So once again, thank you so much for the invitation to be here. It's great to be back.